Almighty Lord, Father of infinite mercy, in this moment of uncertainty and reflection, we turn to you with humility and trust. Enlighten us with your wisdom so that we can understand the signs of the times and prepare ourselves with a sincere heart for what is to come. Grant us the strength to abandon the ways of selfishness and indifference, guiding us towards truth, love, and peace. Bless our families, our friends, and all those who seek your light. Give us the grace to recognize your presence in the events of history and to respond with faith and courage to your call. Amen. Mirjana of Medjugorje has announced something that could change our way of life forever. An event that, according to the revealed vision, will lead all of humanity to stop, to put their daily occupations on hold, to reflect on the direction taken and on their relationship with God. This is not a simple prophecy among many, but a warning that comes in an era marked by chaos, divisions, and growing distance from the spiritual dimension. This announcement has shaken many faithful, raising profound questions about the meaning of our existence and the need to prepare ourselves internally for what is to come. Over the years, Mirjana has shared messages that invite conversion and prayer, but this time the tone is different. There is an urgency, a pressing invitation to review one's choices and to understand that the time of mercy is not infinite. We have been accustomed to believing that everything around us is stable, that the world proceeds according to predictable rules. But what is coming could shatter this illusion. We are not talking about a physical disaster, a natural cataclysm, or an announced war, but something even deeper, a spiritual warning that will push each individual to look inside themselves without the possibility of distractions. Anyone who has lived intense experiences of faith knows that there are moments in which God speaks directly to the heart. It can happen through an encounter, a difficult test, a sudden illumination. But what would happen if the whole world, at the same time, were called to a universal examination of conscience? This is the announced prospect, a moment in which every person, regardless of belief or indifference, will feel in the depths of their soul the truth of their existence. There will be no filters, there will be no excuses, only the naked and raw awareness of what we really are in the eyes of God. Many are wondering what exactly this suspension of daily life means. Will there be a tangible sign? Will it be an internal or external event? No one can know for sure, but what emerges is that the ultimate meaning of this announcement is the need to return to the essential. The modern world has accustomed us to a frenetic race, to material worries, to constant distraction. Our lives are marked by commitments, bright screens, empty words. But what if all this were suddenly put on hold? What if, for a moment, we were forced to confront our soul with no way out? Some might see this announcement as a warning, others as an opportunity for grace. In reality, it is both. It is a warning that reminds us that the time given to change is not infinite. It is an opportunity to rediscover faith, to reconnect broken bonds, to be reconciled with God and with others. The prophecy speaks of a spiritual reset, a moment of clarification in which each person will be able to recognize the truth and choose which path to take. The question we must ask ourselves is not whether this will really happen, but whether we are ready to welcome this possibility of transformation. We live in an era marked by conflicts, injustices, and divisions. Let us look around us. Wars are increasing. Tensions between nations are becoming more serious. People are increasingly distant from each other. Even within families, we sense a growing coldness, a lack of dialogue, an absence of authentic love. If there is a strong message in all this, it is that we must rediscover unity. The announced pause could be an opportunity to overcome what divides us, to recognize in the other not an enemy, but a brother. There is also another aspect to consider. Humanity is not only in crisis on a spiritual level, but also in its relationship with creation. How many times do we ignore the cry of nature, continue to exploit resources without thinking about the consequences, turn a blind eye to the destruction of the environment? Mirjana's prophecy can also be read as a call to responsibility. The world has been entrusted to us as a precious gift, yet we treat it with indifference. Perhaps this global pause could open our eyes to what we are doing to future generations. It is no coincidence that this announcement is already generating a heated debate. Some believe it is just an illusion, a collective suggestion fueled by the fear and uncertainty of the times we live in. Others, however, feel deep down that something great is on the horizon, that this message is not just a warning, but a call to reflection, an opportunity to stop and question the deepest meaning of one's existence. These two apparently opposite positions both reveal a great truth. The human being is constantly searching for answers. Humanity has always experienced moments of crisis and change, and every era has had its signals, its events, capable of shaking consciences and bringing to light questions that seemed forgotten. Yet today, the feeling is different. It is not just a prophecy like so many others, but something that resonates deeply in the minds and hearts of those who are willing to listen. We live in an age where certainties are crumbling. Everything that until recently seemed stable, safe, and immutable now appears fragile and unstable. The institutions that once guaranteed order and protection are being called into question. Society, increasingly divided, seems incapable of finding a point of agreement. Families, the pillar of the human community, are falling apart under the weight of misunderstandings, loneliness, and lack of dialogue. Individuals, immersed in a continuous flow of information and distractions, struggle to distinguish truth from falsehood, good from evil, reality from illusion. It is not difficult to understand why so many people feel lost, deprived of a stable point of reference, overwhelmed by a sense of emptiness that no wealth, no success, no technology can fill. And it is precisely in this context that the prophecy takes on an even stronger meaning. It could be the sign of a spiritual awakening, the first step towards a renewed awareness. A spiritual awakening is not something that happens suddenly, overnight. It is a journey that requires time, reflection, and above all, willpower. Not everyone is willing to undertake it because it involves a sincere confrontation with oneself, with one's fears, one's shortcomings, one's mistakes. But this is precisely what makes prophecy so powerful. It is not a threat. It is not a condemnation, but an opportunity to stop, to look inside oneself without masks, to rediscover the beauty of a life lived in truth. Because after all, it is precisely the truth that the world needs most. A truth that is not found in material illusions, in ephemeral pleasures, or in false promises of immediate happiness, but in something much deeper, the relationship with God, with oneself, and with others. God never forces anyone to believe. Faith is not an imposition. It is not a duty that is performed out of habit or fear. It is a choice, an act of freedom. Everyone has the possibility of accepting or rejecting the signs that are given to us, and God respects this freedom. But there is a difference between freedom and indifference. Ignoring the signs, dismissing them superficially, pretending that they have no meaning, does not mean being free, but blind. And spiritual blindness is one of the greatest threats of our time. The modern world has made people increasingly skeptical, increasingly disillusioned. We believe only in what we can touch with our hands, only in what we can measure, quantify, explain rationally. Yet, just as we convince ourselves that we are more rational, more advanced, more in control of our destiny, we find ourselves emptier, more dissatisfied, more alone. It would be a mistake to dismiss this message lightly. Even if it does not happen exactly as described, the underlying truth remains. Humanity needs a turning point, a radical change that will bring it back towards good. Too many people live without asking themselves what the meaning of their existence is, chasing illusions that leave only emptiness and dissatisfaction. They run from one commitment to another, from one goal to another, without ever stopping to reflect on whether all this has a deeper meaning. They seek happiness in things that, in the end, cannot give it. Money, success, social recognition, power, but none of these things can truly fill the heart of a human being, because true happiness is not found in external things, but in inner peace, in the certainty of being on the right path, in the awareness of being loved by God. Now is the time to act, not tomorrow, not when it's too late, not when circumstances are more favorable, not when there's more time, not when everything is clearer. Now, because the time we're given is not infinite. Every day is an opportunity. Every moment is a chance to change, to remember,